Good morning, everyone. How are you? Good morning, Lag. Good morning, Reseller Rowboat. Beth, I hope you're getting situated since you got home. Mr. Bumcrack, glad you could join us. Yeah. Sorry.
You have to add me to the stream.
Yeah, I know. I should know that by now. Uh, no, actually, I was just going to do my intro and then I was going to introduce you, but you just messed it all up.
Well, Chuck you, Farley.
Good morning, John. Lag Lag wants to know how you doing, Todd.
I'm doing terrible.
Have you been resting any? You're supposed to rest when you have that crap.
Well, I was in bed for 9 hours, but my coughing kept waking me up about every 45 minutes. I don't know if I slept. I know I slept some, but I don't know. I don't think I had a straight 2 hours all night, but whatever.
Well, speaking of that, did y'all read where the FDA has said, I'm not even going to be well, I am going to try to pronounce it right, phenylphrine, which is used in Sudafed, Vicks NyQuil, Sinex nighttime sinus relief, and Benadryl allergy plus congestion doesn't do what it says it does. Um, an FDA panel says that when phenylphrine, if that's how you pronounce it, is taken orally, only a very small amount of the drug actually reaches the nose to relieve congestion. So they don't know whether that's going to be taken off the market or not.
Well, that's some earth shattering news right there.
Yeah, because most of that stuff is what we take, and it seems to work for us, especially the Benadryl.
Benadryl's got it.
Yep, Benadryl.
Maybe
Blah
we
blah.
should crunch it up and snort it.
Now that's the other. That was the old-fashioned, like Sudafed and stuff. The old Sudafed. That's the one that they used to make crack with. Let's see. Good morning, night nurse. Because he doesn't listen, Beth. That's why he's not in bed. Good morning, Anissa. Yeah, that's what you probably need to do. If it seems to work for you, then you need to probably pick up some while you can. I personally would like to see the data behind the outcome. So, yeah, night nurse, you know, I just I just find it hard to believe that out of all these years that people have been taking this kind of stuff, that it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, or they say it'll do. Oh, you like the And Nissa says she likes the stuff behind the counter that meth cookers use. That stuff actually works. Yeah, and if they quit pussyfooting around with these meth cookers, then we wouldn't have to use this other stuff.
Uh, Beth, we just finished a little rain shower about, I don't know, maybe a half an inch. It was nice.
Yeah, that's the good Sudafed and stuff like that. Um, yeah, they're going to have to reverse engineer Sudafed from meth. It's just, just one thing or damn another. Yeah, it's El Chichion bubble wrap. Imagine what else is occurring to reduce costs, according to Night Nurse. Oh, God. What the hell is that? Good morning, Scott.
Address me as doctor.
Uh,
That damn Sudafed PE didn't work worth a shit.
yeah,
This is,
Scott's
this,
mowing his yard.
that's the stuff they tell you to use if you've got high blood pressure. Man, they said its effective range is like 7 minutes and it's done. I'm like, just go to the counter and give them your license, act like a criminal, and get the real Sudafed and be done with it.
Yeah, because if you need to take so much that they won't sell it to you, then you probably need to go to the doctor and get something heavy duty to knock whatever is ailing you.
Well, because they think you're going to make meth with it, I guess. I mean, the government, everybody's answer is everything is, let's not punish the motherfuckers that are doing this. Let's treat everybody like a criminal. So I've got to give my license and information, and they're going to track how much Sudafed I buy. I mean, where in the Constitution is any of this legal? It's not there. You don't
Hmm.
have to go look for it. It ain't there.
That sounds like the guy that lives down the street that drives by every once in a while.
I
Well,
like the lady at the convenience store that asks to see my ID when I get a little can of snuff.
do you reach over there and kiss her?
No, I said, "Have you look? Are you looking at me?"
Well,
Well, it's our policy to. That's another one.
Uh,
It's our policy to card everybody. What they're saying is, the employee is not smart enough to understand that the company is saying you're so fucking stupid that we don't trust you to tell if somebody's above 18 or 19 years old, and
yeah,
so we're gonna make you card grandparents.
well,
yeah.
it's
Whenever I checked out somebody at Home Depot with spray paint, I just put in my birthday
well,
because I could do it. I could do it faster than asking them what theirs was. So I always just put my birthday in.
what it is it's the companies covering their ass. That's what it is. And I don't, it doesn't bother me at all if I
But
see
but you know what
because
happens if the company sells something to an underage person? They're still liable no matter what kind of training they've got. They can say, "Well, we told them to do this." You're still responsible. You hired the person.
well, if you show your ID and it because I can some of the grocery stores here, they don't even ask you what it is. They scan the back of your ID card, your driver's license.
So I saw a TikTok the other day. It was a young white fella, and he was in the hood, and he was laughing with the cashier. He had a big bottle of Mad Dog or something. He talking about him and the boys are about to get crunk, and he handed us an ID, and it's of a black guy, and you should see the cashier when he's looking at the ID and he's looking at the white kid. He's looking back, bro. This ain't you. He goes, it is. Just a day I look like I was on my mom's side. Oh, I mean, it is just it's absolutely hysterical. I wish I could find it, but
Well, I mean, I also can see on the other side where people don't want to show their ID because people will steal your information.
uh, I
Because, but
I can't though. I can't see any of that because you know why? Because every time we give in, we give up security.
yeah,
Every time we give up security, we give up freedom. Man, the hell with these folks. The hell with the. Uh, how many times you got to watch these idiots? If you're go try to film at a post office and go stand on the side, and they'll be trying to trespass you and everything else, and you're like, you don't have the power to trespass me from federal property. Photography at a post office is not illegal. It is a protected First Amendment exercise. Oh, but they called us and said you were doing this. Who gives a fuck what they called you for? You don't have the authority. First of all, you're on federal property. I mean, it's just. Have you seen those guys who do that? What do they call it? Audit, First
Yeah,
Amendment audits.
yeah.
I watched a
It's
bunch of
scary
those.
how flippant they are with your rights.
But people don't even want like when you like on the back of our credit cards and debit cards, we write check ID. People don't ever check them because half the time you're running them through the credit card machines. Another thing too is like at McDonald's, if you've got like under a $10 purchase, it don't even ask you for a PIN number.
I mean, how hard is this? The credit card makes you punch in your zip code. How hard is this to look up somebody's name or whatever? If you steal somebody's card today, like go to Home Depot and steal somebody's card, and then look them up in your city, you can find their address pretty easy. This ain't very difficult.
I got going to the Killeen auction sale, and my GPS took me on a wrong turn, and I got onto Fort Hood military base on some of the back roads that weren't even paved. And I got behind a line of military vehicles and I started filming them. And I got to the gate and I said, I think I'm lost. And the 19-year-old goes, uh, I said, how do I get back to the highway? And he had to go ask somebody because he didn't know.
Since 9/11, though, it's hard to do that around, especially any of the bases in North Carolina. Look at the base here; they've shut down every entrance except for like four. You go by them, and they're all barricaded up where the entrances used to be. Camp Lejeune, you can drive to, or Lejeune, whatever. You can drive one of the state highways goes to the back of it. If you make a wrong turn off and get in the dirt and stuff over there, you're gonna get there's active tank ranges and all kinds of mess out there. You're gonna get hit by.
Yeah.
Yeah, I passed a couple of signs that said active missile range. Do not leave your vehicle.
Yeah, we want you to die in the car.
Good morning, Carol.
So
Well,
it, it turns out I had to turn around and go all the way back the way I came and get out.
You wanna talk conspiracy theories? Is that what you somebody was it was a Carol came in or no it's one of them came here and said another rant. So I was watching a guy last night who was talking about how did Maui happen? Because it looks like it was a direct energy weapon and wiped out because the blue nothing blue melted, everything blue was fine, and
right.
there'd be you'd have a house burned down and there'd be trees in the front. You'd have five houses in a row burned down and the trees in the front yard are all fine. It's because it was a direct energy. Evidently it was China. From what everybody is starting to say, China did that in retaliation for us fucking with their weather. Because there's been long rumors that we can cloud seed and we can do stuff to cause rain and all that craziness. What have you heard for the last year and a half about China? That Three Gorges Dam is going to break. They're getting just record amounts of rain, and the Chinese think we are the ones causing that. That we are manufacturing the weather and doing stuff to cause that.
And with all the droughts that we're having over here, with the droughts we're having in Central America, that's screwing with my cruise in December.
Don't think that the government and the powers that be who do that stuff give one fucking shit about you.
Well, what I'm saying is, it looks like they could be seeding some, especially California. Their golden child. They should be seeding the hell out of the clouds over California so they can get some rain.
Well, is it an accident that everybody's focused on Lake Mead and then all of a sudden we have a major thing? Lake Mead's up 40, 50, 60 feet now. Starting to fill back in.
Yeah, because
Look at Vegas. Oh my God, Vegas the last few weeks or last 3 weeks has had a couple downpours that have raised Mead 2 or 3 feet just from the rain in Vegas.
Yeah, I was watching the video. The guy said, "I think I could float my pontoon boat down." It's the major boulevard that runs down beside like the uh, MGM, Luxor. That main strip down through there.
And not to mention, if you cause all that rain to come through Vegas, you get to clean out all the creatures in the tunnels too.
Yeah,
all the thousands of people that live in the tunnel. How hot's that got to be? Vegas is hot as hell. How hot's it got to be in a tunnel under Vegas?
Well, it's got to be cooler than up on the sidewalk, doesn't it?
No lag. We don't have any fines. Go away.
Good morning, Jimitar.
No.
It's just, do these people up there in DC just do not have enough to do that they got to be worrying all about this stuff.
Yeah, they're making fun of all these people at Burning Man. The Burning Man got rained and they got stuck there for days and days. Burning Man is one of those, bunch of hippies that go out there and they're talking about, carry in, carry out, and all that stuff, and don't leave no trace, and all those hippie folks. You give them a little bit of rain and give them stuck, they leave their shit everywhere. There's cars left out there. It is a disaster. The trash that they left out there this year.
It's just something else.
All right, Lag. Since you put it that way, you need to have something to talk about on Josh's show. I'll show you the one fine from yesterday. How about that bad boy? I had to pay $50 for it, but
that looks like a fancy one.
It is. It's worth about $180 on eBay. It'll go up today. So it's got the extended battery on the back of it. It came with its charger. It came with a case. It came with something I've never seen before. So it had 2 tapes in the box. These are worth about $14 each on eBay. I bought 2 of the TDKs for $1 each at the thrift store day before yesterday, which is weird that I found the camera for it the next day. So I'm going to sell these individually because they're worth. The other ones are only worth like $7.99. These are worth double, so I'm going to sell these individually. But the other thing it came with was this. I've never seen a mini DV head cleaner. And you know how much electronics I sell? That on Amazon sells for $37 by itself.
Holy!
And it's sealed.
Yeah.
Dang, dude.
And then it also came.
Now, does that camera write to DVD?
Wait, there's more.
Does it write to tapes or does it write to the little?
It writes
DV?
It writes to these little DV tapes. That's what these are, DV tapes.
Okay.
See where it says mini DV is what it writes to.
All right.
So the guy must have been, whoever used it must have had a professional setup. So it had. I've never heard of Asden. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it or not.
No.
It's AZDEN. This is a boom mic. So it's worth $40. This is the little controller for it. It's worth another 23. So this whole thing, I had to pay $50 for it, but I got it wasn't just the camera; it was everything else was worth. Get your money back and then some.
That looks like that thing Lag was using in the shower.
No. Here's
Oh God, don't.
when Lag puts it in the shower, he goes into fluffy mode.
Oh, okay.
Lag,
Okay.
Lag puts this on so he entertains and cleans himself at the same time.
Okay.
Oh, pink. He's got a pink one.
And then it also came with some of the big 3-prong cables, 2 or 3 of those. It came with some headphones, but the headphones, the foam is messed up. I'll probably run them through the auction. And I'll run the case through the auction. And it came with something else, but folks, it's the lesson with electronics. I tell you, you can look the camera. Where I put it? It's over there by the model number. But everything else with it, you get your money. You make money on this stuff, and then the camera is like super profit.
So the camera might not be worth. It's just not that one, but I'm just talking about in general. The DVD, I mean, the video cameras might not be worth anything, but the accessories in the case might be where all the money's at.
So of the video cameras that I pick up a lot of them. The one that's generally not worth any money, or their Sony and their Sonys, which is very disappointing. Right. Sony went through a little bit of a period where you could write it to a CD.
Yeah.
Those are generally not worth $50 max. But every other one, even the smaller ones that write to DV and stuff, are generally 80, 90, 100. If it says Night Shot on the side of it, the older Sonys, if it says Night Shot, it's generally 140 to 180. Lag said his was pink, so I would think as much as you use it was probably brown.
Lag, you just got to learn to be quiet, dude. Because when Scott's on the show. So, how did your auction do?
I don't know. It ain't over till tonight.
Oh, that's right. It's tonight. You drop off on the Mondays, and it ends up on
Thursday night.
Tom, today is Thursday. Tom,
yeah, I know. I got like 4 hours of sleep last night, and I had to take Roberta uptown this morning for her quarterly blood draw. I laid down, or I sat down for just a few minutes, and I dozed off, and then I woke up, and I was like, "Oh my God," because it was like 20 minutes till 9 when I sat down. And
so what you're saying is you don't trust Roberta to drive the Saturn? Is that what you're saying?
It's her car. Your boyfriend said you don't trust me to that I don't trust you to drive the car up to the doctor's office. Actually, she drives her Mazda, not the Saturn.
The Saturn's almost an antique by now. You can't risk that.
Yeah.
You better tell your kids back in the day, because nobody's even gonna know what the fuck a Saturn is. How are you driving the planet, Grandpa?
Everybody that I know that have had those things, they really like the Saturn products.
I had an old boss. He was a district manager when I was district manager of Taco Bell. He was a regional, and his had like 330,000 miles on it. He wore that thing out till they finally got rid of it.
The only thing about it is being that they're part of GM. That's an 08. That whole, like the 06s, 7s, 8s, 9s, and up to 10, they all had transmission problems. And like you could only get like 70,000 miles out of a transmission before you had to have it rebuilt or replaced. That's the only thing that we could really find out wrong with it.
So speaking of cars, have you heard what the UAW those underpaid UAW that $60-$70 an hour, those underpaid, I don't know how they make a living,
Right.
Standing there pushing a button or doing whatever, but they how they're going to run their strike and how they're going to fuck America with this. Not only are they screwing America by artificially maintaining the price of cars because they're going to go on strike probably for at least 90 days, but they have decided that they're going to go on strike and only do certain plants. And so, if so, say it takes three plants to make a car, three or four plants to make a car, they're only going to strike at two of them, and then once they run out of parts and can't operate the other two, they're going to force these auto manufacturers to temporarily lay them off and let them collect unemployment, so that the government will pay them unemployment, so they don't have to pay them out of the strike fund, so the strike will last longer. So anytime you're thinking that if you're on the UAW side and all, they're just fighting for the common man, um,
Well,
you need to go and deep throat Lags Brown microphone thing.
you,
There you go.
it's a case where people are not buying vehicles now.
And
I don't know.
I think some of that's on purpose, Tom, because these manufacturers knew this was coming, and so they've been piling up a lot of cars on lots. There's lots of cars piled up in fields that they can't sell. So they've been planning for this to stick it out.
So I don't. I think they're going to be screwing themselves pretty big because I don't know. I just don't understand it. People are not buying cars now. They for a while they were gouging everybody with this like surcharge because cars were such a premium because there weren't any to have. Now they've got them on the lots. People are not buying cars because they
I read something the other day. Do you know what the average price of a new car is right now?
probably about 35,000. How much?
Keep going.
Am I too low?
Yes, the this report stated that the average price of a new car is $48,000.
God.
Todd, you okay there? Do I need to call
You
Gwen to
can't
tell?
you can't buy a base pickup truck for under 50.
Yeah, yeah. Because my brother's company runs uh what is it? The Ford. There's the XLT. There's the XL.
There's an XL, XLT, and then Lariat. The different version of the
Okay,
XLT.
there's one that's like a sport, not a sport, but it's like an SX or something like that.
Or
Which
SDX.
and it only comes with a you can only get them with a 6 cylinder. Which for what my brother does, a 6 cylinder is fine because they don't pull anything. It's just company truck.
Well, the
Uh,
six cylinder has the torque to pull it. It's just
right. Oh,
when
don't.
they're the six cylinders is they're such high compression engines, they're not
Yeah,
going to last because they work too hard.
yeah. Don't get started with 6 cylinders and pulling because Tara will be in here in a skinny minute arguing with you.
And so that's a change because mine out there is an STX. It's got the STX package. It used to be a package. I think now it's more of a model.
Yeah,
But mine's a V8 out there with an STX on it.
but he was and this dealer that he deals with, they buy lots of trucks from him,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, Terry, you know, because Terry was going to order a basic work truck, vinyl floor, crank windows.
And they don't make crank windows, do they?
They still make them, but it probably costs you more to get the crank windows than it does the power windows.
Yeah,
But
because I like that. Mine's got a vinyl floor. I like that. It's easy to clean it out. I ain't got, it's a truck. Who the hell wants to have to clean carpet in a truck?
you can get an XL for the price of, which basically still has about everything. It just don't have the fancy interior in it. As for the same amount of money that you can get a work truck. No, my Saturn's got a V6 in it.
You sure it's not a five cylinder? A lot of those things came with five cylinders.
It's only got a six. It's got a 6 cylinder in it. But I think the American companies are going to really get hard hit because it seems like Hyundai, Mazda, Nissan, Toyota.
Don't put Hyundai in there because they're facing lawsuits that could almost bankrupt them.
Are they?
Yeah, there's a lot of insurance companies that are going after Hyundai because
Why?
Because they're so easy to steal.
Oh,
Their security lapses are between them and Kias. You can I don't. I guess if you're just going to go on a joyride and crash one, it doesn't matter. But there's a reason why they're such high theft cars is because they're so easy to break in.
okay. Somebody said her name 3 times.
Who said it?
Tara.
You know what though? Part of it, I think, like, were you talking that auto sales are going down or something? Because I was looking at something when I was listening to you.
Well, yeah,
Is that
apparently
how you
down here
got
they
on this?
are.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think it's interest rates going up too, and I'm not necessarily saying auto interest rates, but I'm saying is, if
Yeah.
your interest rates are going up on like credit card payments, mortgages, and stuff like that, people start feeling tighter with their money, and they're less apt to go out and make another purchase
So you're
or
saying,
put another purchase on payment.
wait, so you're saying cost of money price will actually raise prices, which will in turn actually also contribute to raising inflation? What? Wow. So just jacking up interest rates doesn't cool inflation? Wow. That's
I don't know.
crazy.
I don't know if y'all saw it yesterday or not, but the actor who plays Biden has been telling you that the last couple of months inflation has been under control. It was inflation last month was almost 4% reported.
I
And
just heard on the radio.
they're
I
going to
heard
meet.
on the radio that Walmart are they gonna reduce their
By
starting minimum
starting
wage
new
or whatever.
people.
New people, they're reducing their wage by $1.
And all the inflation we got right now that's being driven, it's being driven by three things: government spending, which we can't do nothing about, so it doesn't matter. The American person is not going to be able to cool that inflation. So government spending and printing money. Fuel prices. Well, if you can figure out a way to get to work without burning any fuel, okay.
Well, and cost, but that
And then
raises
food.
cost
So you
of
got to train
goods.
yourself not to eat. And I had a dog once, trained him not to eat. Damn thing starved to death.
Now, don't forget the price of automobiles. The study I read yesterday, so that of the inflation that we've dealt with, 16% is due to automobile prices alone.
Yeah.
But another thing too is, as we somebody that we all know and love has come down with this certain disease, um, or
No,
if
I
it
couldn't be.
if it comes back, people that are smart, should be thinking, well, they're going to bring this crack back. They're going to lock us down. Who needs to be spending money right now when they don't know whether?
I don't think people are worried about getting locked down. I think people are worried about having enough money coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have like if you turn I don't have a mortgage, but I have a friend who has a mortgage and she's like, "Oh my god, yes, my payments increased by this much because my interest rate has gone up." I mean, people think about that stuff and you pay more for gas and you go to the store and you pay more for goods because when you're paying $4 a gallon for a gallon of diesel and that's what semi trucks run on, they're going to pass the cost onto the product. They don't eat that cost.
Yeah, and if you're worried about your unlimited credit card, right? Oh, wait a minute. No, they're not unlimited. That's right. They have a ceiling. So when you hit that ceiling with the credit card, now it ain't like, well, I was going to buy stuff, but I hate to use a credit card. Well, now you don't have to worry about it because your credit card's maxed out and you can't use it. So you're pretty much done spending until your next paycheck. That's
Oh my
when you're
God.
literally living paycheck to paycheck. When you got open credit on credit cards, you can fudge that a little bit. When you're hard, like you're actually living paycheck to paycheck, there ain't no more mama credit card to go cry to. You're just on your own. You got to wait till Friday before you buy whatever you want, or every other Friday to buy whatever you want.
Unless
So,
you're
and
telling,
I think that's where people are. That's why we're getting hit heavy. We get hit heavy in sales in the beginning of the month, the middle of the month. That's when, because I think that's when people's pay comes in.
A foreign company a foreign phone number just informed me that my information at the postal service is not correct, even though they put US dash apostrophe postal. Should I click on the link?
sure, go ahead. Let's
Ooh,
see
I
what
don't
happens.
think I do that. That
Alright.
sounds like one of those phishing things. I don't know a lot, but that sounds like one of those phishing
You
things.
better give them your bank username, account number, and password. It sounds like they need help.
It's so your friend has a variable rate mortgage.
Well, yes, I would say. I mean, I don't ask personal questions, but I know with the interest rates growing up, her mortgage payment has gone up because her interest rate's gone up. Well, I mean, everybody has. I mean, if you have a mortgage, I mean, I haven't had a mortgage for the last 6 years, but I mean, I had a 30-year when I got that mortgage in 2003, I remember it was for 10 years, the mortgage rate wouldn't go above 5.6. And at that time in my life, I'm like, wow, you'll never see interest rates this low. Well, when the economy crashed in 9, my mortgage rate was all the way down to like 1.8 or something like that. So, yes, it can go the other way, and it probably depends on your credit and that, what kind of interest rate you pay.
That's the best thing I ever did when it got down to the bottom. We refinanced from, I think we had like 27 years left on this house. We knocked it down to 15 at 2.1.
Wow. And how many years do you get to keep that rate for?
It's 15 years life alone.
Oh, it's fixed for the rest of the life of the mortgage. Like, you're very fortunate. I mean, or you'll get people, and this happened in real estate where you'll be on let's say a 3-year arm, a 5-year arm. This is what really happened in 2009. You get people on an arm where they have to go back to the bank to re-up their mortgage. The bank all of a sudden now decides, ooh, you're too risky to do that with. And they put you into second tier lending, like, Saxon or these sketchier lending places, which charge you interest through the roof.
And you guys are talking about cars. They got a truck identical to our Ford, except 23 years newer. Our four-door Ford F550, and that one right now it's 80 grand, and your payment's gonna be $1,500 a month for 60 months for 5 years.
Whew.
So
When I had friends that were making $1,000 truck payments,
that was
up north,
1,500.
I mean,
you don't feel that extra 500 the first month, but the 6th, 7th, or 8th month.
I had a friend who had a new Suburban, and this was like 6-7 years ago, and she said, "Oh yeah, it's $800 a month." I'm like, $800 a month? That's insane to pay that much
Plus,
for
you
a
still
car
got
payment.
tire replacement, oil changes. Just all the maintenance that goes into the vehicle on top of that payment. Your fuel cost.
Yeah. Well, some people have to go on a variable rate mortgage because if you don't have the credit to get locked in on a certain interest rate, that's just the way it is.
And also,
if you want to own a house or stay renting.
Don't forget young people buying their first house. You trust a mortgage person because you don't know any better, and they will sell you a bad product.
There was a lady that was she was a leader in the Cub Scouts when my boys were Cub Scouts, and she was a mortgage broker, and she said, this was been like 07, before the crash of the real estate. She said this couple came in there and they said, we want to buy a house. We found a house, and looking at our numbers, we can buy a $400,000 house. And she ran their numbers and she said, yeah, y'all qualify for a $400,000 house. She says, but why do you want to buy a $400,000 house? And they said, well, it looks good, and if we can get the money, we might as well go ahead and get what we want to buy. And she said, okay, it's going to be real easy for you to get in this house. She said, real easy. She said, but how easy is it going to be to get out of this house? And they said, what do you mean? She says, what happens if one of you lose your jobs? She said, yes, the other person can carry the mortgage. She said, but if you had to get rid of the house, how fast would it be to get rid of it? So they ended up going with a house for about half that amount. And she said about 6 months later, the wife called in and said, thank you very much. Well, she got flowers at her office from the lady and her husband. She said, thank you very much for telling us that. She says, because my husband just lost her job and I'm getting transferred back to Atlanta. They're closing the Atlanta office. So we've got to sell our house. And their house was priced in that sweet spot that, they were turning them left and right. The $400,000 houses were not moving that fast. So the moral of the story is, like this woman said, is it's easy to get into it. How easy to get out of it? But
sounds like Negative Nancy didn't want those people getting a better house than she.
Yeah,
had.
you're hurting real estate agents.
Oh
if you talk
no!
like that.
Oh no! She and her husband had about $1 million house over in Ballantyne.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then she didn't want these upstarts getting too close to her. How easy is it going to be for her to get rid of that $1 million house?
Because she didn't have a mortgage on it.
You got to turn it. Yeah,
Her husband
somebody
her
should turn it around on her.
her husband made her husband came from a wealthy family.
That's
Um,
what happened in 2009 because Jim was a real estate agent. You drive people around, but nobody could get any. Nobody could borrow any
No, but
money.
I will say this though: the $1 million plus houses were still selling just fine.
yeah,
That
Oh,
market
that's
was still
true.
strong. It was the 100,000 to 500,000 range. It was in the toilet because
it
there was
was
no the middle class had nothing.
right.
Well, in the I mean, I guess the slumlords were still buying, so you had the low end stuff, and then you had the high end stuff. But yeah, people would just come in thinking they were going to be able to get a loan. I'm like, you better double check at the bank before I drive you around for 4 days. They're gone.
And back to the mortgage lady, she said that she had lots of people calling her looking for money, and because they knew, because she did her people right. And she said she still makes, a mid figure income, so she was not hurting at all. And I
Yeah,
don't think
real estate people and people that sell mortgages are always saying shit like that.
you can't
No offense. I
you
mean, I
you
was
can't
I'm
you
hearing Jim. I was around these people. They're always when that real estate crash happened in like 7, 8, 9. Oh, that's those other people. That ain't us. We're selling a lot. We're having a great year. They're kind of like eBay sellers.
Yeah,
yeah
Oh, that's those other people. They're doing horrible. We're doing great.
I'm making 7 figures. I drink Michelob Ultra.
you can't you can't trust those real estate folks. Those agents.
They're always saying shit like that.
All they want to do
Well,
is
I can tell you, you could have the bankruptcy papers in your back pocket to drop off at the lawyers and still tell everybody you're doing great because
Yeah.
that's just a law. But that's a law in most businesses.
And
Yeah,
you're
you never,
driving a Mercedes Benz and you're getting ready to lose your house.
yeah, you never tell them you're going under until the gravediggers actually shovel the dirt on your casket.
back in the 70s. Um, Especially after I started, after I started driving and I was delivering plats and stuff to lots of the different realtors in town. I'd go out to dinner, or like my girlfriend and I would go out to a restaurant and eat dinner, and I would see these realtors women realtors waiting tables
Yeah.
because they were doing whatever they could do to keep from losing their house, because in the 70s, this 16% interest rates,
Mm-hmm.
you youngsters
Yeah.
could not even remember 16%. It would be
I
it would
know, like in the 90s, Jim's like, because of the mortgage calculators, what did they not go below? Like
9.
9%.
Yeah, 9 was the lowest of books. You would have a bound book, a little bound. It could fit in your back pocket. Was your interest rate book, and you'd use your calculator to have to multiply by 1,000 or whatever to figure out whatever the payment was going to be. It would always be like what the interest is on $1,000. Then if it's an $80,000 house, you multiply it by 80 or whatever. But
When
yeah,
is
I mean, when it started going down, when it was Bush one, when HW his last year in office, when the interest rates started to tank, we're all like, oh, they'll never get down to 9%.
In 2003, I got that 5.5 or
And then when they hit
5.6. I
6, we're
couldn't
like, oh,
believe
this
it.
will never last. You'll never see interest rates hang around at 6. They'll never stay this low. And right all through the Clinton 8 years, they stayed there.
so when is
After
eBay?
Roosevelt,
eBay has so
till
many
recent
problems.
history.
I'm looking up some wire because there's an auction that has some rebar wire, and there's no bids on it. I'm like, what's it worth on eBay? So I go over, and this person has max tie wire rolls, the same one, same everything. There's a picture of 25 of them. It says price is $8, more than 10 available. You go down to the description, it says 25 rolls of twist tie wire sold individually.
Yeah.
That's against eBay policies. You can't show a listing for. You can't show a multi. How many people are confused? They look at that and go, "Man, I'm getting a great deal. I'm getting $25
Yeah.
for $8."
you need to send him a message saying, I was getting ready to buy this, and then I saw where you were clickbaiting me.
It's. I mean, and they how does everything else where they want to do a hats or because they think hats are counterfeit and everything else. But I see so many of that where there's stuff that people continue to put in the main picture that's not in the fucking listing. They'll show something with to be demonstrating how it works, and it'll be in the picture, and they'll go, "Oh, that's not included."
Yeah,
Or
I've seen people. I see guys. They'll have a girl holding something up in front of her low cut top, and then you find out the girl's not included with the item.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably cost too much to ship.
Has anybody else gotten counterfeit claims? I hear other YouTube channels talking about it.
I've not got any.
Yeah, I haven't.
But I
Sometimes
don't.
I kind of wonder if it's like bigger channels, like maybe you end up getting like
No, I
some
think it's
trolls like
I
reporting.
think it's
listening.
clothing. I think it's clothing. A lot of people are on hats. Like
Thanks,
a couple
Ray.
of people I watch have like hats that are like one offs. Like say Budweiser sponsors a
Yeah, like distributor handed out.
yeah.
Well, knock on wood, I got a whole bunch of that Budweiser crap yet.
Yeah, well,
I haven't got hit yet.
Well, I think the other thing too is instead of putting who made it, the manufacturer on the label or whatever, a lot of those the labels are off or whatever. So they're just saying label unknown or whatever, and that's what's really getting them in trouble is the AI that's looking at this stuff can't match up a label to the hat or whatever because you're selecting unknown versus putting the actual information in there.
Just so y'all know, I've got the filters up, so if you can't catch anything from Pandemic Pete up there in the corner.
What the heck are you talking about?
Pandemic Boy. I'm gonna rename him Pandemic Pete. Because he's got the Rona.
If I had I know. I would wear it, but I don't believe in masks, so there you go.
You can't stop it.
Honestly, he probably got it from Jim because Jim was sick that last week before he went. I was sick and Jim was sick. Probably got it from us through the internet.
Yeah, it's a Chinese military-grade super bioweapon. You're not going to stop it.
I hate you, Jim.
I hate you, Jim.
So
just submit. Resistance is futile.
He probably called it.
Commonwealth Picker. He put up a jacket that had a Harley patch on it.
Yeah,
and that got taken down for copyright.
And it's not that it was that when you read the title, it inferred that it was a Harley jacket or whatever. And that's what it read like instead of. You know, if you'd have put a jacket, whatever brand jacket,
like a jacket with patches or something.
With patches, you'd have been fine. But he put the Harley Davidson in the title, and it was, and even he admitted that it could be confused that it was a Harley jacket, which it wasn't.
I had 2 packages of military MREs taken down because they had that heating chemical in it.
Oh, really? Were they older?
Well, they're not.
Because you can't ship. Is it sterno?
I don't know if it's sterno.
Oh, okay, but maybe there's something I'm not shipping that.
Some kind of.
I know, like if you get like like Vietnam era, World War II era, like MREs. I mean, they were. I haven't looked them up in the last year, but they were doing quite a bit of money.
Oh my god! Yeah, those guys who had those channels where they're eating them.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean they're getting big views though.
Yeah.
So you guys looking for that YouTube Skrilla? You just gotta eat those 40.
I was at an auction and I was mad at Jim. I bid on these World War II MREs. He's like, Tara, don't bid that high. He goes, they can't be worth that much.
Oh my god, no, those are big money.
Shut up, you didn't say it then. So I backed off. I listened to him. I went against my gut feeling. I listened to Jim. I knew the seller up there that bought them. Yeah, they sold them for like $275 to $300 a piece, and there was like 4 or 5 of them. And I'm like, oh, Jim, I could kill you. Anyway.
You actually listened to Jim. That was your.
I did actually. I went against my gut and actually listened to Jim, and you can see how it turned out.
For Todd, this is my first day actually feeling pretty good, so it does go away. So you will get through it.
You didn't test positive for it though, did you?
We don't take tests at our house. That's what the government tracks
you.
Way
to get the government in your house. It's like mice or termites. You don't want the government in your house.
But you know what?
You can take that free COVID test and stick it where the sun don't shine. I ain't ever taken a COVID test.
You don't need to send the wild kid to school and him be a carrier.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, he got it. It came from
Yeah,
homeschool.
it came from the school system. Okay, it's already there. That's how we got
The
it.
teachers
When you
union is
send
working
your
for China.
when we send our nappy kids off to school, they bring home diseases and then
Well,
they infect
well,
us.
if you homeschooled him, then you wouldn't have that problem.
Oh
And
yeah, I don't have the patience to homeschool. God bless anybody that does, but I'm not a teacher, so no, this is perfect. And you have to, for me, it's good because when you send your kids out to school like that, they learn that there's assholes in the world that they have to learn how to deal with. So that's a
Yeah.
good life lesson for them.
One of our Jim, you'd like this. One of our clients years ago, I mean, he's a real hard worker. He developed his own subdivisions and sold real estate. He was a hard worker. So he and his wife decided they were going to take a year off, and they were going to travel the country in an RV with their 3 kids. And
Oh boy.
the two oldest one were in school. Like he had like a 10-year-old and a first grader, and then a toddler or a pre-K kind of age. So they went out a year later because he would call and check in with Terry or I to find out how things were going as far as some of his projects and whatnot. He was back like a year and 2 days later. He was back at work, and we're like, "How did it go?" He said the traveling part was fine. He said because we got to do a lot of stuff and we got to do a lot of educational stuff. He said, but that homeschooling, he said that's a crock of shit. He said, He said, I don't know how we have any teachers in the system at all. He said, these are my own kids, and they weren't wanting to do their homework. They weren't wanting to do their work. He's like, I would hate to have 30 kids in
Yeah.
a class that, I couldn't threaten to beat their ass if they didn't sit
Have
down
you
and do their work.
have you seen the YouTube short of the guy who acts like he's talking to a teacher or a principal about homework, where the guy goes, don't
Principal?
send my kid home with 6 hours of homework. I don't want to learn this shit again. Just because you can't do your fucking job, I'm not going to spend my whole
Yeah.
night teaching this kid because you can't accomplish, teaching in 8 hours. The hell with you? That's a fun. I mean, it's the truth, but it's
Is he the one that does the thing about he's
Shut
got
up.
he's got one episode where it sounds like he's talking to a little girl in his classroom. You
yeah.
know, I'm sorry that Sally made fun of your hair, and he goes on like this kind of stuff, and you think he's talking to another little kid, and he says, "But you got to remember, you're the teacher. You're not supposed to let these kids bother you like that." The principal, or something like that. Yeah, he's pretty funny. I couldn't be a teacher. No damn way. I'd have to choke somebody. I'd be in prison. Um, let's see. I saw people.
Yeah,
You saw.
there's an auction here locally that's I'm trying to find it. They're selling some spindles for trailers, timbering. Uh, and right now nobody's bidding on them. These damn things are brand new. They're like $175 a piece on eBay.
Oh,
When you say spindle, you talking about?
Yeah, the wheel attaches to it, but there's no
Oh,
action.
oh, okay,
It's for a trailer.
okay.
Tell Tom how many freaking cats you got.
oh my God, we got like 7 cats now, Tom, outside.
You need to find out. You need to have them fixed.
Yeah, we do, but people keep dropping them off. I was outside yesterday. I hear this meow, meow, meow. Here's a little kitten in our yard. There ain't no way. We live in the middle of nowhere that this cat just wandered in from somewhere.
You gotta love them.
Okay.
They keep the snakes out of the trees.
Yeah, there you go. I've turned it into poor Gwen, where she's probably feeding 100 cats.
Oh yeah, they're all over you. They're underfoot. They're trying to climb you. It's like feeding I don't know what. I mean, they just now when you bring out the food and they just attack. I mean, it's nuts. The kitten's face got the swelling of her.
Yeah, those damn things try to rub on me, and I'm like, get away.
Yeah. But you're out there feeding them.
You don't go now. You
Not
don't
me.
go out in our yard when there's not a cat following you around. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like they're literally. I don't know. I'm hoping so they come and put me in jail, so I'm rescued from these cats.
Jim's like the Pied Piper of cats. They follow him everywhere.
Too
And
bad
we
he's not.
did not. Well, we rescued one from the park. The rest of them showed up here, and I think people
Yeah.
are dropping them off. I don't know where the hell they're coming from.
Yeah, well, that little kitten is no way just wandered in from miles away.
You need to.
I'm gonna send you some cats, Tom.
No,
Yeah, we'll poke holes in
listen.
the box.
I've got 3 in the house and 1 outside,
jeez.
and that's all I need.
Well, how much does it cost to send a cat to you, UPS?
Don't want no cats.
I'm
I
gonna
don't.
say, what's your address again, Tom?
I've got all the cats I want, and
They're extra meowy and extra loving.
if I had
No,
about
but the Cujo dog could eat these cats. I can tell you that.
if I had another 1,000 square foot of house, the outside house, the outside cat would be inside the house because he tries to come in now,
Well, you better
and
just let him in.
No, we
and
need to send him. We need to send him to Todd because his cat needs a companion cat to keep him company. So won't bother Todd anymore. That's how you fix it.
Gwen's feeding like 100
many
cats outside.
What's Scott got for cats? We got to fill some cat holes.
he's got
Y'all have met my cat, Joni.
Yeah. Oh, you're not that far from us. You're only about 3.5 hours away, so we could definitely just drive those cats there and drop
that
them
little
off in
dog,
the yard.
He likes cats.
Yeah, give the dog something to play with.
You're only 3.5 hours away from Scott.
Yeah, I think
they got plenty
maybe
of-
around 4. I mean, it's pretty quick because Tennessee's a narrow state. And
Yeah,
you're up on
I
that.
can get to the Kentucky line on 65 in 2 hours and like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Hell, it's 4 hours, and I can drive 4 hours and still not out of North Carolina to get to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I even looked because I'm gonna be over in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I'm like, well, how close is that to North Carolina? And it was still like 6.5 hours.
Yeah, we're
Or
like
to
2
Charlotte.
hours north of Nashville.
My brother bought a custom horse trailer from someplace out in Arkansas, some big old huge dealership out there.
Oh yeah.
And he drove out there and was driving back with it, and he said he thought Tennessee would never end. 'Cause,
Well, yeah, because it's long. It's narrow, but it's long.
Make sure you drive it up and down.
That sounded really bad.
Well, don't drive it sideways.
I mean,
drive
if
it
somebody were put into this conversation like right there, that sounded really bad.
It's being that Arkansas is at the west side of it and South Carolina is on the the east side of it. That makes for a long ride through Tennessee.
I remember we'd hit the north border of Florida. You get through whatever Tifton or whatever, then you hit the north border. You cross the border into Florida,
Oh, like by Valdosta.
Valdosta, and you think, oh boy, wow, we're almost to Disney. And that's like another 4 hours. It's like, oh my god, oh, drive down the Keys. Oh man, there's a fun ride.
Which way did y'all go? What the hell is Valdosta? Which way did y'all go?
How do you say it? Valdosta?
Yeah, it's up there.
We're from the north. That's how we say stuff.
It's up there on the border. Up there, we'd fuel up at Tifton, but Valdosta's right around there.
Valdosta.
Valdosta.
Yeah.
We're reading a sign here. We don't have a Georgian interpreter with us. Hey, Peaches, go ahead. We need an interpreter.
Hey, Beaches, we need somebody to read these signs for us.
Yeah, scamper those little Daisy Dukes over to our panel van and climb in.
Okay, I want everybody.
Andy in the back.
Everybody be quiet again. Quiet. Jim, would you say the name of that state? That town that starts with a V again?
Is that
Valdosta?
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 See, Georgia's all screwed up. I lived there for 3 years. You know, what's the third largest city in the country? Third or fourth largest city? Houston, Texas. But Houston County, Georgia they call it Houston County. And they get pissed off too. So for 3.5 years or whatever I was there, I called it Houston the whole time. Said, "Fuck y'all, it's Houston."
Well, I'll start typing in Wisconsin city names and see how you pronounce those.
They have too many syllables. Well, Scott, it's like Beaufort, North Carolina, Beaufort, South Carolina, spelled the same way. I mean,
Beaufort is correct. You bumpkin assholes from the south don't know shit.
Yeah, it's like saying oil or all.
It's Lancaster, South Carolina, It's Lancaster, South Carolina, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
It's
Val-
Valdosta. It's right on 75. It's right over the border.
Okay, now say it with your southern accent.
No, it's right. Valdosta.
It's
Now
Valdosta.
you can't even say it right. You say it, Scott.
Valdosta.
Valdosta, he says.
Oh, Valdosta. Well, I guess you could pronounce it that way too.
Maybe it's because we're from the north, so we
Why,
make
like
the
I said,
hard.
We got out. Well,
Vowel,
gas was actually a
sound.
little more expensive there, though. You're better off if you're going down 75. If you're going into Florida, fuel up in Tifton. And when you get to Valdosta, it actually or Valdosta, it's actually higher there because you're getting closer to the Florida border where the gas is higher. So the ones on the Georgia border charge more too because
They can.
yeah, because they can. They get
Okay.
Florida people sneaking over the border to get a little bit
If you
cheaper
look,
gas.
if
They
you
raise
look
their
at
price.
where there's no letter, there's no vowels behind the O in Valdosta to make it an O. Come on, can we do proper English? Valdosta.
Yeah, but it's spelled
It can be
V-A-L-D-O, isn't it?
I
Not
think there should be another A in there. I
V-A-L-D-A.
think it's Valdosta.
Valdosta. Valencia.
Yeah, it's Valencia. Yeah, that's it. That's a good name. Who's that guy in St. Augustine that donated Flagler?
What the hell are you talking
They
about?
just named things that there's a lot of Flagler stuff in Florida. It's
Oh.
Flagler this and Flagler that.
Pastas?
It's a popular Florida name. He was some Florida big shot.
Mm.
He was a railroad tycoon, wasn't he?
My sister went to Flagler one year.
Okay.
Okay, so next, how do you pronounce mobile?
Mobile?
Mobile. Hey, I got my ass kicked in Mobile once.
Alabama.
You never got your ass kicked in Mobile.
I did.
In Alabama? You never were down there. You're so full of it. Oh, we were in Mobile. We drove through there after we bought that truck.
Well, yeah, that's the only time I've been through it. No, that's in Stripes. When a guy goes, we're crossing the border to Czechoslovakia. It's like crossing the border into Wisconsin. The one guy looks over and goes, hey, I got my ass kicked once in Wisconsin.
That's the fact, Jack.
That's a fact, Jack. Army training.
I need to watch that shit. I hadn't seen that in years. I need to watch that.
That is a great movie.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine's grandmother lived in Marietta, Georgia. But to her and her friends who had lived there for 100
Oh, you're talking about
years,
Marionette, Georgia. Yeah, I know where that is.
Marietta, Georgia.
I know where that is. Okay, I didn't understand you when you pronounced it that way.
It's Marietta, Georgia. His grandmother and her friends called it Mayretta.
Oh boy.
Well, you got to look at Alabama. The south of us is ARAB. What do they call it? It's ARAB. What do they call it?
Arab or Arab?
They call it Arab.
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 There's that. There is that city in Illinois, and I always said it Cairo, but it's Cairo, or whatever. And because we went and visited, I'm gonna say it Cairo because I like the way it sounds. In Vicksburg, they have this ship that was sunk that they brought
it's
back
also
up.
called the Cairo.
Yeah, it's called the Cairo, but you can walk around on it. Which, if you're into the Civil War stuff, that is a really cool thing to see if you're ever in Mississippi.
We have a town called it's Versailles is the spelling, but they call it Versailles or
Versailles, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Versailles. No. Which is the one in France?
Versailles.
Versailles. Yeah. Okay, they say Versailles.
But they pronounce it Versailles here. And if you say it the other way, they're like,
It's like Louisville or Louisville.
Yeah, we call it
Louisville,
Texas. They don't like that.
There's a Colorado City in Texas, but it's Colorado City. You better
Colorado.
get it right. When you
like Colorado
City, you better call it right, or somebody will
kick your ass.
Sounds like someone used to go for the rodeo.
Yeah.
I had a great uncle, and his wife was Italian. And somebody would say, she talks funny, where's she from? And he'd say, Italia. It was not, he'd always put a hard I on the front of it.
Italy.
boy. Be
Italy.
kind to her. She's very fragile.
Yeah,
here,
Fratelli. Yeah.
Alabama has some great names. So here's one. It's spelled Wedowee. They pronounce that
W-E.
they pronounce it Wedowie. And another one, it's Tallassee, and they call it Tallassee, not Tallassee. It's Tallassee.
Mhm.
That we have a Cairo in Alabama as well.
Roberta's from McDowell County. If you look at it on the map, it's McDowell, but the whole state calls it McDowell County.
Yeah.
There is a city here that for a long time we called it Knifley. It's Knifley, but it's Nifley. And they get real poopy if you say it wrong.
Well, they know
too.
you're like if you say Bowling Green. Oh, I'm going over to Bowling Green. They're all like, oh God, because it's Bowling Green. And then we have another one. Oh, Lebanon. If you say Lebanon, they're like, what? It's Lebanon.
Lebanon.
Do you remember Kathy that used to be on the show?
Yeah, from Mississippi.
Yeah. Do you remember what her last name was?
I don't know, but I think she's friends with me on Facebook.
I could pop that up actually. Look at my email.
No, it's Renault. That's the way
Oh,
it's spelled.
Yeah.
Oh, you know it.
Or
Okay.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, this was a this was a
This was a
test. I
test.
thought it was a question.
But it's really Renault is how it's pronounced.
Okay, so
I used to love when somebody'd have a Renault. You'd go, oh yeah, nice Renault. Oh, that's a yeah, nice Renault.
okay, so here's a
Every
city.
time they correct me, just pronounce it back to the wrong way.
That's a city in Alabama. In the chat, how do you pronounce it?
I don't see it.
What is it?
Wichita.
Locapoca. Locapoca.
It's Lochapoka.
Locha.
Lochapoka.
Okay. I was putting the hard K sound on this.
I like Locapoca better.
Look
Look,
up
I like
Natchitoches, Texas, and Natchitoches, Louisiana.
That one is hard to spell. I just have to put it in there.
Well, in the South, we have to throw a few extra syllables in there, even though it's not actually in the word. It's got a sing song when you talk. But Scott, to be a bunch of illiterates that can't speak, there's a lot of damn Yankees moving south there.
Okay, here's another one. This is a good one. Nobody will get this one right. I bet nobody gets that one right.
Lag's name is pronounced Log.
All right, so
Helena?
Helena.
Helena?
Helena.
Ifala? Ifala? That one's hard.
Ephemera?
Yeah,
No, it's not ephemera.
yeah. That's you follow Alabama. Yeah.
Yeah, Mahia, Texas, but the people there call it Mahair.
My hair. Well,
Where you from? I'm from Mahair.
There's a YouTube channel, and it's what is it? Something Southern. Anyway, it's a Southern channel. They talk about the way they do things in the South and whatnot, and they do this episode where they're saying, how do you pronounce? They're asking a bunch of Northerners, how do you speak? Say these names of towns.
Here's your last one from Alabama.
And these
Opelika?
these people would destroy some of these names.
Opelika.
Nope.
Ew. I'm not touching that. Reminds me of a girl I knew in high school.
Opelika?
We used to call her Snack Bag.
Ew.
Nope.
Opelika.
Opelika. That's Opelika, Alabama.
Well, if you look on Google Maps at the top of the Northwest Territories, even with well, it's just up at the top of the Northwest Territories. It's one of the only towns up there. It's north of Reindeer Station. It's called Tuktoyaktuk. It's Tuktoyaktuk, and the only reason I know that name is back in the 80s, Molson Beer had this party. It was called the Polar Ice Blast. Or maybe it was
Were you there?
No, but they kept running the ad on MTV.
No.
It was like, it's above the Arctic Circle. And it's Tuktoyaktuk. But it had Hole was one of the bands, and Moist was one of the bands. So they'd be reading off these bands. I'm like, did you really have to put those two together? But anyway, yeah, I think Ozzy Osbourne was there or whatever. And it was
Really?
it was a big rock concert. Yeah, they had it way up above in the Northwest Territories, above the Arctic Circle. Tuktoyaktuk. So if you look on Google Maps, there really is a town called Tuktoyaktuk.
Yeah, I've seen people that they drive up there.
Well,
Go
it's Tuktoyaktuk.
Oh.
It's Tuktoyaktuk.
Roman, make sure you spell God's country correctly. We're not going to have you misspelling Tuscaloosa, damn it. We took a loss last week. That's enough of an insult for that place.
Yeah, y'all got your ass handed to you last week, didn't you?
Don't make me sick my dog on you.
Oh, no. What's his name, Frankie?
His no, this is a toy dog.
Yeah,
That's the dog from A Nightmare Before Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I forgot its name.
I don't know. I went out the door to the driveway to move cars.
Zero.
So dogs think I'm gone, so they're not out here.
Oh yeah, Zero.
Well, maybe it ain't Zero because Zero's like a ghost and that one's got a tail.
Who controlled who was it that controlled the tide that weekend?
Roman, it was 2011, Roman, and we lost to Texas.
Texas, lock 'em Longhorns.
It might as well have been Alabama 2.0. They had like 4 or 5 of our players from the transfer. They had an assistant coach they made coach that we had twice here. I mean, you know, when Saban has taught all these people his ways, you know, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass every now and then.
Well,
Look at Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart spent how many years with Saban? Yeah, Roman, that was I'd never seen anything like the tornado that hit Tuscaloosa. I know that was also like a week after it hit Joplin, Missouri. Those two were really bad. It changed the landscape of Tuscaloosa. I mean, it wiped up from when I was there to now when I go back. It doesn't like the same place because so much of the stuff was in that main area was knocked down.
Have y'all looked at the Weather Channel lately, or the weather?
no, I'm not old enough to watch the Weather Channel.
Yes, my ass.
I also don't eat supper at 4:00 either.
The Atlantic between the U.S. and Africa is just like one tropical storm, one hurricane after another out there.
I heard there's one heading for like the New England area right now.
Yeah, that's Lee.
Oh man, they had Metallica there.
But there's another one rolling in right behind it that they're expecting.
Well, I guess you have to watch that stuff because you live on the Atlantic coast side of the country where, I mean, other than I guess if you get a hurricane in the Gulf, we can get a lot of rain from it, but usually doesn't affect us too much.
Lag. Shut it.
You do. I agree with lag. That is true.
What?
You have to be over 75 to watch the Weather Channel.
Remember that's the weather stud, the Italian weather stud?
No, I don't remember that.
Oh man, it was some big hurricane or something. They everybody thought he was so great. Oh, I forgot his name. Anyway, he's bald now, but he had a full head of hair back then. He was like, Do
you have a shirt that said like the Italian weather stud on it?
They started calling him that while he's covering the storm.
Oh,
he's an old guy.
Italian weather stud? Is that what you said?
No, there's something the Italian weather stud. Are you mixing the Weather Channel up with Rocky again?
No. And no one has ever done that.
I still watch the Mexican Weather Channel.
Oh, I would too.
I don't even live near there, but that's a good channel there.
Oh well, Playboy had I get Playboy Channel. They had the shirtless news and weather, didn't they? Jim used to
Back
watch
in the
that.
day, yeah. First, I got divorced. The first thing I did was
Did
get
they
Playboy Channel.
did they
Start watching
start
topless.
out with shirts on and they took them off as they reported,
No, they.
or
Oh,
they
maybe
are?
they did take them off while they recorded. But anyway, they had them off pretty quick.
Oh,
That's
But
the
it was
weather
just
girl right there.
topless. Just for a while. They did straight AP news with their tops off. Which
I don't know what she's saying, but she can keep talking.
Yeah.
looks like she's got a storm front moving up her skirt line.
I would eat my
She might
cereal.
have a hurricane coming on.
Every morning I would eat my cereal before work, watch the topless news, and my day went great.
There you go.
Even if it was bad news.
Julie, just because they're reporting it on message boards or whatever doesn't mean it's true. I'm telling you, Saban has not mentioned retirement. He's carried on. If the last thing I saw him say is, "Don't believe anything you hear." He doesn't pay attention to outside news. He doesn't read anything. He doesn't watch anything. He's got better things to do to listen to other people's opinions. That was
Who
his
is
last.
who is he?
Nick Saban.
Who is he?
The head coach for Alabama.
Oh. Okay. I don't. What was the guy's name that's like the god of football coaches from Alabama?
Bear Bryant.
Yeah. I was in a chat the other day, and this guy was talking about Bear Bryant, and I said, "Who's he? A wrestler?" And
I think he was from Kentucky.
I was afraid that this guy was going to drive to North Carolina and kick my ass because I said he's a wrestler. Well, I mean, it's what
Wrestling?
Well, he was. That's where he got his name from, wrestling a bear. So you're not far off.
These daggum people get too testy with their collegiate sports.
Yeah. Well, it is the South. Collegiate football is huge in the South.
Well, they're surprised that they really were surprised that the Panthers have survived as long as they do because North Carolina, this whole area is not a pro football state. If you throw up the Super Bowl against the finals of the NCAA, the Super Bowl will lose because everybody will be tuned in to that college football here.
It's the same thing with Alabama. Alabama has. I mean, we like Tennessee or Atlanta, but it's Alabama, Auburn every day, all year, and then Georgia's so close. Athens is only 3 hours. I can get to Athens before I get to Auburn. So you throw in those three major football universities. It's just that's all you hear is college football down here.
Like here, it's funny because Wisconsin, like if you talk to kids in school, what's your favorite football team? It'll all be Packers. You'll have very few Bears or Vikings. You'll 90% be Packers. But you go down here and like ask kids in school, what's your favorite football team? You'll have Colts, Bengals, Packers, Falcons. I mean, they're just all Browns, all over the spectrum on whatever team they pick. They decide as their favorite. But like I would say, like Wisconsin is very regional. Like no, Green Bay Packers, everything's a Packer.
Packer.
The South sees pro football like I do. I'm a fair weather fan for pro teams based on where the Alabama players went. Like right now, I love Miami. They've got a couple of great Alabama players. 2 of them went off this weekend. So and they've got Waddle, the receiver. I like the Eagles because Hurts, and there's 6 Alabama players on the Eagles. I like the Patriots because of Mac Jones. It's just it's a matter of where Alabama players go. It's not.
Yeah.
I like Miami because of their mascot. That's the only reason. And I've been a Dolphins fan since the Dolphins came online.
But an interesting stat, everybody says, does Tua have what it takes and all this stuff? Dan Marino threw 400-yard games or whatever it is, or whatever the stat was from this weekend.
Right.
Tua's already done 2 of the 5 of those games over 450 yards in a Miami uniform. Tua's got 2 out of the 5 already, and he's missed that last year, half of it with the concussions. But Julie, my best guess is I think he'll do it 6 more years. That's my best guess.
My university of choice is Podunk U. It's over there in Podunk, North Carolina. I contribute I contribute $10 and I'm in their booster club.
The biggest
Can you
problem with
get quote
Alabama
onto your shirts?
is how much can he keep turning over assistants? The assistants keep. I mean, that'll keep you up at night. Is you, why was Clemson so good for 5 or 6 years? Because his assistants never leave. What happens to Dabo when his two assistants left? Clemson is taking a beating. It's you can't keep recycling assistants. Julie. Look at Georgia. For all your guys, number one, you deserve it. You're back to back champions. But look at the first half of two games that y'all played. Y'all look y'all look like y'all couldn't beat Tom's podunk team. Uh, I know you scored 56 points this past Saturday, but y'all were in the middle of the second quarter like 7-0 or something stupid. Uh, it, it, Georgia is not as dominant right this second. If they did what Alabama did, and every year we schedule somebody heavy, the first that was the first of these big games we've lost since Saban's been there. We've won every other opening game. Uh, if Kirby went out, if y'all play Texas in week 1 or week 2, y'all might lose. Texas is a lot of their team is together, and y'all are breaking in the quarterback. They're not breaking in the quarterback, and their defensive line is for real.
How's UNC doing this year?
They started out beating State or whoever they played. They beat South Carolina by a couple right at the end. You know, a lot of expectations with their quarterback. Was it Drake May? Is their quarterback?
I,
Their
they
Yeah,
just
Julie. Every team goes through that, but very few teams are like Alabama who plays somebody good in the first 2 weeks of every season. Usually, we start off on TV playing somebody good every year. Georgia doesn't do that. Georgia plays nobody every year.
the UNC folks, Chapel Hill, is like the Alabama fans. They are obsessed.
Yeah, like LSU.
Obsessed.
LSU went on the road to Miami in their first game. Don't let's not forget. I think it was Miami. Who did LSU lose to? Was it? Did they? Who did LSU? Maybe it wasn't Miami, but whoever they lost to. They started out with a good team. That's one of the more difficult things in college football to do is to come with all the new players, with all the transfer portal and all that craziness, is to come out in the first game or two and play a heavyweight.
Todd, do you got much shipping to do today? Being that you're peaking,
Uh,
puny.
yeah, I had my biggest day of sales yesterday in a month.
Oh wow!
Good.
I
Well,
got
you were gone for like 15 days.
Oh,
I
it's
got
Florida State. That's right, Glenn. You're right. They played Florida State. I knew it was somewhere down there, but
sold
that,
some weatherproof yard speakers for 150 each, two of them.
Like,
Cool.
did you get all your cruise sales out of the way already? Because you had to ship
Yeah,
with
they
27.
yeah.
you had to
I had
ship those Monday, didn't you?
27 on Monday,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I had 3 on Tuesday. I had 0 on Wednesday. I had 0 sales on Tuesday. It's weird. 0 sales on Tuesday,
Yeah.
and then yesterday I sold $700 worth of crap.
Trying to
Well,
see. Mine's been up and down like that too. You know, 300, 500, 70, 430,
Yeah,
0.
it's crazy how it's going up and
We had a
down like that.
0 day. I mean, we just never have a zero. We never have a 0 day, and we actually had a 0 day this month. And then we had a couple of better days than we've had like in the last 90 days. So it feels a little bit like fourth quarter starting, but not quite it yet.
So everybody, if you're all you eBay people with stores, don't forget you've only got a couple weeks left to use your shipping coupon if you haven't used it.
yeah.
I'm gonna use mine. I got to use mine today.
Tara and Jim do so well. She's ordered her one of those Bentley
No,
pickup trucks.
I don't. I'm not doing as good as I have done in the past.
That was
I
the
mean,
new
it's all right. I'm not
that
gonna die, but I'm not
that wa-
doing. I
that
don't.
was
I do think I was doing better last year.
That wasn't the point of the statement. Did you not hear what I said? I said you're doing so well that you've ordered you one of those Bentley pickup trucks.
No, I wouldn't order that.
Yeah,
You
isn't
know
that
what? I'd get another truck. I mean, there's a truck over in Hodgensville that's like a F450 or another F550, but I think it's a 450. It's used. It's nice. I mean, it's got the
oh,
flatbed on it, and I think it's like $50,000. I'd go buy that before I buy a
Sunday,
Bentley.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Isn't that weird?
Well, they gave you Tuesday to rest.
And then I sold a gold necklace this morning for 120, 115. So weird.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Should I blag? He's going to go on Josh's channel and say, "Hey, I sold some yard speakers." Turd.
Okay, let me write down what Todd sold. Okay, and I'm gonna go on the other channel and tell him that I sold it. Ha ha ha.
He's also telling me he sold a camera too.
Yeah, I got a real good camera. I got some real nice outdoor speakers.
I wish you'd come and ship those speakers so I don't have to carry them. I'm gonna. Gwen's sick too now, so
Oh, you gave it to her finally, didn't you?
Has she?
I'm gonna take my packages to the loading dock in the back of the post office and say, "Here."
After you lick them all.
Yeah,
So
A mass spreader event hits the United States Postal Service.
did she test positive yesterday?
she did not, but she's getting another test like right now. So they said it may be too early for it to show up because we think you have it. Because she's not in good shape either.
Well,
God.
who's looking after Mama?
Uh, Gwen's sister's coming in sometime today. Gwen's mom. As soon as I came down with COVID,
She
Gwen and
left.
her sister loaded up her mom and took her back to her mom's house. And
So Gwen down at her mom's house?
no, her mom's been her Gwen's sister's been staying there some, and then that old lady, she's all right. She can handle it a little bit for a day or two,
Right.
and she calls Gwen about 12 times a day. Gwen gets annoyed, but
I hope she's not listening to this show right now.
Probably
no,
not.
Gwen's
Oh,
mom.
I just love listening to my son-in-law Todd. He's such a great guy. I love listening to his shows in the morning. He just said my daughter gets annoyed by me calling.
Uh,
Oh, jeez. Well, I hope she gets to feeling better. I hope she doesn't have it.
Gwen's got it.
If she's
Poor
getting,
Gwen, she gets into bed with Todd every night. How's she not gonna
You're
have
gonna
it?
have to spread it because you gotta go around town telling everybody how sick you are.
yeah, she's been sleeping in the other bedroom since we got home, but
But Todd was sneaking in there licking her pillow before she went to sleep.
shut up, Tara.
Yeah, while she's in
You're
town,
an
make sure
evil
you
person, Tara.
He lays down for a while she's in town with his sickness on her pillow and stuff.
I
well,
want my running nose on her pillow.
when I was in the at the doctor's on Tuesday, my doctor, who looks like he's like 16 years old. Anyway, he says, it looks like you need some vaccinations. And I said, okay. I said, the flu shot? And he said, yeah. And there's a special flu shot they give to the old people that's like super duty.
So they
And
watch the Weather Channel.
yeah. And so, but he says we don't have any of the COVID vaccines. And I'm like, that's good. I don't, or the boosters for those. I said that's good because I don't want those. He said, "Why not?" I said, "Because I've had it 3 times and I'm fully vaccinated." I said, "It's no point in it."
Did you hear
My
what they get? What they get paid per like
Yeah, it's
dose of the
$120.
$120 per dose of that COVID
Hey
vaccine?
Tom, though, did this person give you any of that BS that your COVID won't be as bad though if you get the shot?
No.
Okay, because it's come out now. When they were saying that, there's absolutely no study or any evidence. Somebody just 100% pulled that out of their rear end. There's no evidence if you got the shot, the vaccine or booster, that you were going to get a milder case. That was just somebody just dreamt that up and started floating it. Like a
Mine,
big
We lied
mine
about
got
that.
mine got stronger as I like the second time was worse than the first time, and the third time, I mean, it was bad.
there's a lot more evidence showing that if you got the shot, you're more susceptible to it.
Yeah, really.
Well, that
Dude,
might
if
be the
this
reason I
polio
finished.
vaccine worked the same way as this vaccine works right now for COVID, everybody in the world would have polio right now. Because the polio vaccine would basically be a vaccine that does not do anything, which is basically what you're dealing with here. I think if you go to CDC, I think they give it like a 2% chance you're better with being vaccinated than not. Well, 2%, that's a non-working, that's just a vaccine. The Pfizer just ripped the government off is what happened. I don't know what the hell they made, but it wasn't a vaccine.
Okay, Lag, I'm banning you from any YouTube shows, listening, participating until you do what I told you to do the other day about creating the little animated avatar and voice changing so you could come in this show so you could explain some of the shit that you say. It's like, no shot, I'm ordering COVID speakers. What the hell are you talking about?
He's talking about he ordered my outdoor speakers from
Oh,
me.
Yeah, because Todd is a mass spreader event in Texas going on with Todd.
That's why they call him Typhoid Todd.
typhoid or Pandemic Pete. I like Pandemic Pete better.
Fucking typhoid Todd. Damn it.
That goes better than Typhoid Mary. I don't know. I didn't think of that right away.
I thought Jesus said you weren't supposed to pick on the infirmed.
Yeah.
Come on.
It helps make you stronger. It gives you the will to live.
He also
Yeah,
said,
you never kick a guy when he's up. He could kick you back.
he said don't cast the first stone, but you better duck.
Yeah. It's on your parole, Tom. Parole Lag. Are you on house arrest? Is that the reason that you never can leave the?
His mom locked him in the basement.
Did she have one of those ankle bracelets on you? If you move,
Can
if
you
you
go within 500 feet of a school?
yeah.
I think he can't come on here because he's still attached to his mama's umbilical cord.
Yeah.
Ew.
Well, there's these little some of these people they have avatars. They're animated avatars, and when they speak, the avatar actually moves, their mouth moves like they're
Oh,
the
that's
one
not
talking.
creepy.
I know it's cute as hell. The girls that have them. I've not really seen too many guys with them. Since we're questioning whether who Lag is, he can just do the female one and
I'm
just
looking at this online auction here, and they have these Daisy BB guns, Jim. One of the Daisy BB guns is sawed off. What kid saws off a Daisy BB
Yeah, it's
gun?
how you get a better BB shot spread. You load about 8 BBs down the barrel at once.
He sawed it off. It's real short. Anyway, I just thought it was funny.
Jim, you might can answer this question for me. I don't know why it made me think about it, but the shot that's in a shotgun shell are those steel or are those lead?
They can be both.
Yeah, they can. If you're hunting upland, you can hunt with lead. If you're hunting waterfowl, it has to be like tungsten or steel or bismuth.
Okay. So what about these the shells that you would shoot skeet with? What would that be? Do you know?
Skeet.
Skeet.
Oh, lead.
You can shoot lead with. You can.
Yeah, because steel works terrible. I mean, lead is way more superior for accuracy and stuff.
Is it something to do because of the water with lead?
Yeah, it's because the
pellets?
ducks
Yeah.
eat the lead pellets.
Well, here's my question. I was watching this thing about skeet shooting, and this guy he's got a nice little platform built out on the edge of his farm, and he's got like three skeet throwers, and they shoot skeet out over this cornfield.
Every time you say skeet, it reminds me of that rap song where they go skeet, skeet, skeet,
Yeah,
skeet,
okay. Oh,
skeet.
gross. Okay.
I can't
Now
help
I'm
it.
thinking that. Okay, gross.
And I was just thinking about you're constantly plowing this lead into the field. Would that not become toxic?
Well, let me put it this way, Tom. Lead comes out of the ground. Crude oil comes out of the ground. So, I mean, if you change the oil in your gravel driveway, you're just putting the oil back where it came from.
We never did such a thing. We always
Or you could go to the boat landing. That's another good place to change your oil
I
because it's
do.
already at an angle, so it drains right down the cement.
I
and
do
goes
know
away.
those orange skeet discs that you shoot.
Oh yeah, you can't have that around hogs.
Yeah, hogs die from them.
Yeah, those black. It's like Bakelite. Those pigeons, the clay
Right.
pigeons. Whatever that stuff is made of, it says all over the box you can't have it around hogs because it'll make them sick or kill them.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a heavy metal. You probably shouldn't have it in the ground.
Does Jim look like a geologist?
No, well
Just
he's a
You know
big,
what? Just take your old shotgun on your Carnival cruise, and I'll throw the skeet over the ocean, and then you can put that lead out in the ocean where it belongs.
they have banned skeet shooting from all the cruise ships.
What?
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 Well, I'll never go on a cruise then.
Oh, I heard they were killing whales.
Oh
though.
yeah. So
They're-
let's see.
They're hitting golf balls.
If you
and
go on a
plugging up their
cruise,
blowholes.
if you go on a cruise, you catch COVID or some kind of horrible diarrhea event,
Now
and
you
now I
can't
can't,
shoot your
and now I
shotgun?
can't shoot my shotgun off of it. No, I'm not going.
I think I'd rather go buy some good paint and watch it dry.
It was too many people were getting accidentally shot.
Well, that's gonna happen sometimes. I mean, that's just part of it.
Cat looks like Gizmo. Its got ears are straight out.
You know,
It
we Cub Scout story. Back when the
Jim
boys
got shot.
when they were Cub Scouts, they were a Cub Scout camp. They did archery, bows and arrows.
Yeah.
The woman that was she was the leader of that one location. She was like, okay, before I talk to you boys, talking to the scouts, she said, I'm going to talk to the parents. She said, you will never set foot on this property again if I hear one time, hey, Billy, look here. Well, he's got that bow cocked. She says, because he's not going to turn his head and look at you. He's going to twist his body and end up shooting his fellow scout beside him. And she was serious about that. That you better not say, hey, because you want to take a
They're
picture of
sticky
them.
with archery shooting.
Well,
Brandon did archery. I mean, they are very
Yeah,
regimentated
you got, like,
on
whistles and
safety
clicks
and
and stuff
that.
they gotta
Yeah,
follow.
and they don't turn around and talk unless their bow is down. Well, their arrows are in this quiver holder thing that's on the floor.
Yeah, and then when they're at rest, they immediately put their bow down on the tip of their toe. And then stand up straight, holding the top of the bow. It's really regimented.
all right, it's 10:30. I need to go.
That's it. Tom needs to go.
I need to take a nap. I'm starting to.
You're taking a nap at 10:30?
You weren't listening in the beginning? I only got like 4 hours of sleep last night, and then I
That's
had to
all
get
I
up.
ever get.
Yeah, that's all we ever get.
Well, y'all are
And I
young.
almost got killed yesterday.
Y'all are
4
young,
hours.
and y'all are just
I'm
playing.
not young. I don't feel young today. I almost died.
Y'all just cat around all night.
I wish we did cat around all night.
Yeah. No, there's not much catting going on.
Does
The
anybody
only
have
catting going on is out on our porch.
Does anybody have anything about reselling they would like to talk about on the way out that we're leaving?
Yeah, keep listening.
Keep listening.
Keep listening.
Don't forget, everybody, Todd's show in the morning if he's able to. Todd, you need to go chill out now, rest now.
Yeah.
What do you do? That's what you're supposed to do when you're sick. You're supposed to rest.
Well,
Spe-
Tom, I wasn't going to go run a marathon, but okay.
No, you just
You have to go rest. Gwen left to go get her COVID test. She's got to go lay on her bed for a while, make sure she catches it.
Oh man.
is she did she go down to the doctor's office to get her shot? I mean her test?
Yeah, she's at the clinic right now, and then takes them about 30 minutes to an hour to call and say, yeah, you're positive, or no, you're not.
And then what do they tell you to do after you test positive? Did they give you like ivermectin or something?
They gave me
Or that stuff you put in
Pax.
What's the stuff you put in aquariums?
I don't know about the aquarium.
No, there's a thing you put in aquariums to cure ick, and remember people were like supposedly taking it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's amoxicillin. I think it's a different.
Is it
I think it's
tetracycline or something?
yeah, it could be. Maybe it's that one.
They gave me this stuff called Paxlovid,
Mhm.
whatever.
You should just went down to the pet store and got something.
Yeah, just go down to Tractor Supply, get you some ivermectin, and take you.
That's a new town in Alabama, Paxlovid.
Paxlovid.
I knowed her. She works down there at the Greasy Spoon.
She works down there in Arab.
Yeah. You need
Oh,
to
boy.
y'all need to really
Yeah.
you are a little bit on the older side, like I am, Todd. You got to really
Yeah, I'm
watch it, son.
gonna go work out with the track team after
That's right. You
after the show.
go down for the cross country practice.
Yeah.
All right, y'all look for. Wait a minute. I took the packs made by Pfizer to treat the disease made by Pfizer. Okay, John.
Sounds like a circle jerk.
I know.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I don't
Todd-
even know what one of those sound like.
come visit Todd
Never
tomorrow.
had the reason to find out what that sounds.
Todd's trying the show, or Tom is.
Come
Let it
visit.
go.
Come visit
I want
Scott.
to hear the circle jerk sound effect.
No, that's nasty. That's nasty.
A lot of moany.
Okay. Y'all have a great day. God, Jim.
Bye.
Y'all are Jim is not right.
He ain't wrong.
Jim is
No,
Jim-
this John Jones put. I took Paxlovid too, made by Pfizer to treat the disease made by Pfizer
yeah.
that the Pfizer vaccine didn't prevent. That's what I said. So
I'm just wondering what that sound effect is. It's like a slappy sound. It sounds like a
Jim.
steel slapping its fins together.
Jim, 8:00 on Saturday night. We're gonna have a show.
All right, we'll be there.
You'll
Probably drunk.
well, you
Bring-
should make it like 8:30 or something because I might have to go to a local horse show that day, but I'll try to be back. Earlier.
What's a local horse show? They just parade them down the street.
No, they got just a shitty little show. It's just like for rednecks and rubes and
Hey,
stuff that
I got
local.
a question for you guys. I got
Are
this.
we live?
Yeah.
We're still live. Is this a question
Okay.
you can say on the internet?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can you use your cell phone to go on one of these things?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I got this phone. I don't have a really good camera, but I got this cell phone with this real fancy camera. I might try doing that.
Now you can't do it on a flip phone.
No? Oh, well, that's what we had. Dang.
Oh no, it's a Motorola brick. Is that okay? I got a Polaroid one shot or one step or whatever.
He hooks up to the Motorola
I used
brick.
Gorilla Tape. Yeah, I taped it to the
Oh.
brick. I think we'll be okay. I got hooked up to a car battery right here. Hold up here, honey. My Gorilla Tape's coming loose.
I'm going to sit down and I'm going to go through all these videos with Jim on it, and I'm going to cut out all the best of Jim. I'm going to create one video that will probably make me $50 million off of it.
Yeah, it's horse. It's not whore. Horse.
Just remember this, kids. It wasn't my fault. I was drunk.
I'm like, damn, you could be done by 8 o'clock. They must not. Either they're no.
Well, you gotta hit it hard. When it starts at 10 in the morning, it's kind of wrapped up by 8 anyway. It's only over here in Hodgensville.
What are you talking about? Circle?
There's a circle jerk. There's a little horse show in Hodgensville
Oh.
that I might be roped into going to, but I should be home by 8. But
Like I
Okay.
said, you get roped into a horse show. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah,
Really?
that's what happened to me. I got roped into that thing. My mom turns on the lights. I'm like, I don't know who these guys are.
sounds like you were involved in a circle jerk.
It's 9
It's like
o'clock.
white boys sit in a circle. I don't know.
Y'all have a great day. I have got to go.
Yeah, why didn't you end this earlier? That's your fault.
You knew it was headed south.